Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you hopping on. Today, we are going to hear from Donald Trump on his stance on crypto. We are going to hear from Mr. Mann, Chad Steingraber. We're going to hear how I can be part of the 1% and how people out in the field actually think and do they know about Bitcoin. We're going to see how many people actually know the price of Bitcoin. We're going to hear from Ripple and we're going to hear from Mickle Markets. So appreciate you jumping on. Hit that like and subscribe button. It definitely helps the channel, and I appreciate your support. First, let's take a look at pricing, and it is still ugly. 55,113 for Bitcoin. Ethereum sits at 2340. Solana at 129 and XRP at 53 cents, all down 2.5% to 4%. So not great as far as the markets are looking right now. But again, September typically is not a good month. So let's hurry up and finish out September, get into October. All right, let's jump in with Eleanor Terrett here. And she says it's pretty cool how far the crypto industry has come in the last year. It came to Wall Street, and now it's part of a major party's political platform. A former and potentially future president talking about Bitcoin and crypto at a venue where many of the top businesses, executives, and thought leaders of the world have spoken is notable. She tweets here, in his speech at the Econ Club New York, @Real Donald Trump promised to cut regulation and embrace crypto and Bitcoin. Quoting Donald Trump here, instead of attacking industries of the future, we will embrace them, including making America the world capital for crypto and Bitcoin. So good stuff there from Eleanor Terrett. Moving on to Mr. Mann here, he discusses the connection between MasterCard and Ripple. We've heard this from a number of folks on X. And here it says, and this is on a MasterCard platform, Ripple is a leader in the enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions, transforming how the world moves, manages, and tokenizes value. Ripple's business solutions are fast, more transparent, and more cost-effective, solving inefficiencies that have long defined the status quo. He goes on to show here all those involved here at this event and with MasterCard, including Ripple, including Fireblocks, including Consensus. And it says, to bring greater understanding of the benefits and limitations of CBDCs and how to implement them in a way that is safe, seamless, and useful, MasterCard is convening a group of leading blockchain technology and payment service providers to join its new CBDC partner program. So, MasterCard will have a CBDC in one shape or form. So, we'll see what happens there. Moving on to a video from Chad Steingraber and talking about Ripple and XRP. And this is really just proof that, Ripple and XRP is being utilized. This is at a blockchain summit, and we're going to let you listen to this video here in a second. Drop your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think of this.
Is taken about 55 billion of the XRP that we have and put it into escrow. And the idea is, again, to provide stability of supply. So every month we have 1 billion Ripple, XRP available for us to do whatever we want with. If you don't use it, it goes to the back of the queue. It's all under a smart contract. And the idea is to say, we will dribble this out so that there is not an immediate, big overhang of XRP on the marketplace. But ultimately, all of that XRP will be owned by institutions that want to use it. And whether they use it for nostril replacement or they use it as a bridge currency or potentially for other use cases. So we are certainly beginning to now look at what are the other use cases you can have for this, given the high-performing network that we have. So it will take time, but as that is used to sort of create deeper markets, I think the utility of XRP will in fact grow, and that's kind of where we are headed with it.
So the big takeaway there for me is that it's really confirmation that XRP is going to be used by institutions. And it's going to be used in different ways as they continue to grow their business and as people create different ways to use it. So good stuff. Moving on here to Smoke Dog. He says they want retail out when retail isn't even in. Zoom out, kick the unproven theories, and realize that the few 100,000 people arguing on X about crypto is 0.001% of the world's population. Institutions don't plan around retail because retail is late to everything. He goes on to play a video here, which I'll show you in a second. And it's a woman asking people what the price of Bitcoin is. And let's see what their response is. Take a listen.
For £10, what is the price of Bitcoin? You know Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency?
0.47.
What? Ladies, quick question for £10. What is the price of Bitcoin right now?
No idea.
What is the price of Bitcoin?
What is the price of Bitcoin? What is it? What the price is for one Bitcoin?
Yeah.
0?
For £10, what is the price of Bitcoin right now?
Maybe.
No. You have to tell me what the price is of Bitcoin. You know Bitcoin? You don't know. For £10, what is the price of Bitcoin right now?
I have no idea.
You want to guess?
I don't know, 2,000 or 200?
What if I said 60,000? Yeah. It's time to get into crypto. In the biggest bubble. I forget. I forget. And then you go to people and you ask them how much Bitcoin is and they say 0.02 and it's like, I wish. For £10.
So the good news here is if you're watching this video and you're into cryptocurrency and the new financial system, you're ahead of the curve, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of people out there have no idea what's going on with this transition. And hey, be thankful that you're ahead of the game and you're involved in this community. And a great community it is. So moving on to Ripple here. Ripple posts the traditional cross-border payment system is slowing crypto businesses down, making it difficult to provide customers with flexible fiat payout options. Ripple payments can streamline digital assets off-ramps by 1. Providing 24/7, 365 day access to cross-border payments. They go on to say reducing the number of counterparties in the payment flow and settling global transactions in seconds. So again, that's what Ripple's all about. They're not here to replace the banks. They are here to work with the banks. And they are, again, just creating partnership after partnership with other entities out there. So they continue to do so. And finally, here is a video from Mickle Markets, who does a great job. Shout out to Mickle. And he has a piece in here that he got from David Schwartz, talking about what their outlook is for XRP. And it starts with a discussion with Mario Nofal and Tucker Carlson about other countries moving away from the dollar. And then it transitions into David Schwartz talking about his vision for XRP and how it relates to the dollar. And world reserve currency. So let me get you to this spot here so we can play a piece of this, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.
Some very interesting facts that are absolutely fundamental in this eventually happening. Listen up to this.
You're the holder of the world's reserve currency, and you're the safe haven for the world. All rich people in the world want to invest in the United States because it's safe, because we don't just take people's shit because we don't like them. We have a process. If you start doing that, then the rest of the world's like, wait a second, you're not what I thought you were. I want to get out of dollars. I want to, for example, form a massive global coalition of nations that are not aligned, and we'll do our own thing. It's called BRICS, and it now represents most of the world's power. That's just a fact. So, like, we just ended American dominance in a bunch of different sectors, or begin the process of ending it. And I don't even think most Americans know that. Like, the consequences of what the Biden administration did in February of 2022 will be things that your grandchildren have to deal with.
Do you believe that there can be two existing world reserve currencies to simultaneously exist?
I do, and I think that could happen. I think it's quite realistic that a lot of the world is just done with the dollar as their reserve currency. I think that there's a lot of places that are willing to try something else. And one of my scenarios, and I don't think it's going to play out quickly, but like one of my wild case success scenarios for a digital asset is if countries start to realize that the US dollar is not going to be the reserve currency forever. Other things are going to be the reserve currency. And the same thing that we saw with banks. Like people, when we started selling software to banks, people would say to me, why would a bank use something that like you guys were selling them when they could use something that was like made by banks? And what they didn't realize is that, only like 10 banks in the country, on the planet, are Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan Chase, like the ones who would build a system that the entire planet would run on. For the rest of the banks, that's 6,000 smaller banks, those are their biggest, strongest competitors. Those are the entities they hate the most. They would not want to use the system built and maintained by them because it's going to be biased in favor of them, their biggest and strongest competitors. And I think the same thing could happen to nations. Like every nation would love for their currency to be the world reserve currency. That's helped the U.S., that's grown the U.S. economy, quote unquote, unfairly by leaps and bounds for decades. And every other country would be like, yeah, we'd like to have the world be the world's reserve currency. But the only countries that could possibly pull it off is the U.S. holding its position, maybe the EU, maybe Russia, maybe one or two others. But realistically, most countries know that if there's going to be a new world reserve currency that's a country's currency, it's not going to be them. And so they might actually prefer a currency that nobody can control to one that's controlled by their largest geopolitical rivals. And so that's like what I think is the biggest possible success scenario for digital assets. If these countries are like, okay, well, the US dollar can't hold on forever, but it's not going to be our currency because no one's going to want to repeat the US dollar scenario. Nobody but the EU wants the EU to replace the dollar, right? Nobody but Russia wants the ruble to replace the dollar. Nobody but China wants the yuan to replace the dollar. So maybe they could settle on a currency that nobody could control rather than one controlled by their most powerful geopolitical rival. So if you want a success scenario, that's the one that I think is the most likely.
But the money question is, how do you get...
So great stuff there from David Schwartz. Thanks for sharing, Mickle. In 2011, David Schwartz, along with Jed McCaleb, began a financial infrastructure similar to Bitcoin that would substantially use less energy and drastically reduce transaction time. And that's when they began to create XRP. In September 2012, Chris Larson and Jed McCaleb co-founded the corporation OpenCoin. In 2013, OpenCoin announced it had closed an angel round of funding with several VCs. That same month, OpenCoin acquired Simple Honey to help it popularize virtual currencies and make them easier for the average user. And then eventually in September, I believe it was 2013, OpenCoin officially changed its name to Ripple Labs Incorporated. 2 years later, the company was rebranded from Ripple Labs to Ripple, is where David Schwartz is CTO today. So just a little background there for you. Appreciate all you guys tuning in to the channel.